Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on Crowdfunding Conversations. We obviously have quite a few of you here today. So do you want to introduce yourselves and introduce your business that you crowdfunded for? Who wants to go?
There's too many.
We just do it in our usual order.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Good idea.
All right, I'm Bronwyn, and I'm talking to you today from California.
And I'm Janine, and I'm talking to you from Millport, and I'm a director and distiller with Isle of Cumbrae Distillers.
I'm Julie. I'm also a director, and I'm also in Millport.
And I'm Linda, and I'm at home in Millport as well, and another one of those directors and a distiller.
And finally, I'm Philippa, and I'm in Millport, and I'm also a director of the Isle of Cumbrae Distillers.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So just for everyone out there, Millport is on the Isle of Cumbrae.
Cumbrae.
And that is just off the coast of Glasgow.
West coast of Scotland, yeah.
Which is in Scotland, which is in the UK. Okay, good to know. And you guys, yeah, you started a gin distillery, and that's what you crowdfunded for. Do you want to tell people a bit about what that money that you were raising was going towards?
Yeah, we were raising funds to purchase our still, which obviously is the most important thing if you're distilling. So we purchased the still and all of the equipment that goes along with that, which is, you know, a list ad nauseum. And then we also, what's the word I'm looking for? Hired, for want of another word, interns from, or an intern from a local university to do some market research for us, which proved very, very useful and successful.
And how did you even come up with the idea you wanted to start a gin distillery?
Well, it had something to do with a pub quiz and the five of us coming together, but also an idea that's been planted possibly even some years earlier about starting a gin distillery to fund the development of a community centre from our ancient town hall. And then I think it was Bronwyn who said, look, let's just stop talking about it. Let's do it. And we were probably suitably, well-oiled, I would say, but we all thought, yeah, why not?
Let's do it.
So that genuinely was the origins of it. But then we got serious and formed the company and thought it would be the easiest thing in the world.
It was probably it was probably good that we didn't know what we were doing, because had we known what we were doing, I don't think we would have done it.
I mean, a certain level of naivety goes a long way, right?
Absolutely.
In this case, yeah.
And so you obviously then started your company, decided this is what you were going to do. When did crowdfunding come into that mix?
So it was actually, somebody had recommended it to us. One of our friends and mentors, Simon, had recommended crowdfunding, and Bronwyn, if I remember rightly, immediately whipped up the idea and looked into it, and that's how we came to you.
And did you have any other kind of funding ideas before the crowdfunding?
Just our own funding. You know, we were naive. You know, we put together a business plan, not understanding the components of what a distillery involved, especially the 7 licenses that you have to get to actually open a distillery. But yeah, it was early on that we decided. I don't remember how exactly we connected with you, Jess, but and then of course the pandemic happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had done some research for grants and other funding opportunities, and there weren't any available for a startup distillery. And I believe it was, Janine just mentioned, it was Simon, our mentor, who recommended crowdfunding. And I believe that he did recommend Jess to us.
Yes.
Simon's a distiller on another island. We were very fortunate when we started this whole process. We'd heard a rumor that the island next to us wanted to open the distillery on our island. So the first people we connected with were this distillery, because we wanted to give them the bad news that we were going to actually open the distillery. But instead of them, you know, saying nasty things, they in fact embraced us and said, how can we help you? And they basically gave us all of their contacts for bottling and labeling, and they gave us their distiller. This is Simon, to offer us advice and guidance. And so he has been a really critical piece of us really learning the right way in terms of distillation.
Wow, that collaboration sounds really helpful. Imagine how long it would have taken if they hadn't have given you all of those things.
Oh, goodness.
yeah.
Exactly.
Doesn't bear thinking about. And I think it's also worth mentioning that we were in touch with North Ayrshire Council in an attempt to get some grants, and we did connect very much with them to receive not financial help, but help with our use of Facebook and other social media, ways in which you can network with people in the local community. And in fact, we found our accountant through that particular networking. So, you know, we did receive some support from the local council, but there, as the other girls have said, there was no money out there.
I don't think that can be underestimated, the value of local councils.
No.
I have, you know, being in the United States, we don't have that kind of support. That has been incredibly invaluable to us. As Philippa said, the training that we can get for social media, for marketing. We've gotten some funding for having our website evaluated and our social media. And another thing that can't be underestimated, and this is what Linda was saying about, we were raising money for an intern. Make a connection with the local universities. We've had one intern fully funded, half funded. We've just, I haven't even told the girls, just yesterday, we had our summer intern approved for funding, so we get another one. We've actually we're doing 2 master's projects with 2 groups of students who are just taking our project on. That's a win-win. It doesn't cost you anything. There's potential money in it, and the students get to work with a real company. So that really can't be underestimated either.
Yeah, and like the in-kind support that you're getting is obviously so valuable because it's saving you money. Imagine how much you'd have had to raise if you had to pay for all of those other things. And yeah, I think that, you know, in the UK especially, we are really quite lucky with our chambers of commerces and local councils and universities as well. Like, I think I should have definitely embraced internships more when I was a student. And now obviously I like to work with them to improve their internships for their students, because it is handy for everyone involved. So we spoke about that, but what about with the actual crowdfunding process? You know, did you go into that with a lot of naivety? Was that a shock to the system in any way?
Well, not since we had a course with you, Jess.
But even the course could have been a shock.
Well, as we've mentioned, we found this RBS match, and they would match up to £5,000, but we had to raise £5,000. And so we were talking to each other, and oh my gosh, we're never going to get £5,000. How on earth will we, manage that? And it was kind of as that conversation was going on that then we learned about you, Jess, and started realizing that, possibly we could make £5,000 and the rest. But yes, we had no clue how to even start. That's why we needed you.
I'm so glad we did the training.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. I mean, it really was. You gave us lots of homework.
Yes.
And you really had to figure out, various pieces of it. But I don't think I don't know how people do it without going through. I really believe that.
No, I don't.
Absolutely.
There are lots of worksheets we had to work through and things.
Yeah.
It was great.
And I remember having like an early call with you, and you guys were so nervous, and I was just there like, this is gonna be so easy.
Yeah.
I have so much faith in you.
Yeah.
And you guys are like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the concept of building a crowd, Jess, we didn't realize that. And the way you laid it out for us was so linear and logical. And the step-by-step instructions really guided us and helped us make decisions that led us in a really good path.
Yeah.
And it was the bit at the end as well that we never really realized that once you've got your money, there is more to be done. We wouldn't have
Yeah.
realized that. And again, you know,
and you guys have done the follow-up so well. Like, I love getting the emails from you. You add so much extra value. Like the Burns night email that you sent out with that information. Someone asked me about Burns night and I was like, oh guys, just go check this out. I'd got your email like a few hours before, and the pancake day recipes as well. And just go and drink gin. I was just like, ha, yes.
You know, that crowd, even the crowd fund itself is great, but that crowd are your supporters for life. I mean, you mentioned that, and they are behind us. And we really feel that. And, you know, they came into the shop, you know, when we were actually open, because this is before we got open. And they would tell us, oh, we've been following you and we really admire you. And, you know, women like our age, you know, really like what we're doing. And then their daughters come in and go, oh, I want to be you when I grow up. It's been great.
Did that ever like freak you out when people feel as though they know you, but you're like, I don't know who you are?
Yes.
Yes.
I like it.
It's a lovely feeling. Yeah, it's a lovely feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most surprising thing for me, not realizing how the crowd fund would get us so established within the crowd. People really bought into our story, and everybody who came into the shop actually felt like a friend. It was just so delightful. They were so happy for us, and yeah, our story really seemed to get through.
Yeah, it really takes it from like a one-time customer to kind of like a community.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. They have become part of the story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Jess, we started the campaign right when lockdown started. And we were literally thinking, oh no, there's no way that people are going to give us money or you know, even care about us. But you encouraged us and gave us some really great tips on why we should continue with it. And in fact, this might help us a little bit. And I think that really encouraged us to keep going and not give up.
That's good. That's good. And then when you were running your campaign, you know, you guys are in a really good position in that there are 5 of you. Did you all work together on all the parts, or did you kind of segment them off to different people for different responsibilities? How did you divvy up all the tasks?
I would say on the whole, we work together, but we do have, Bronwyn was actually in the US for most of the campaign.
All of it. Yeah.
So, so whilst 4 of us could get together, we would have, you know, every other day or every week at least, communication with Bronwyn as well, so that we could, we wanted it to be cohesive and we all wanted to be part of it.
I think the hardest part, well, for me anyway, was just the posts every day. I think that was a challenging part, because you want to pitch it right, you know, and I think we were really good, even though we were apart. I think we were really good at communicating, because you can do that through technology, and we were so excited every day. It's like, oh my God, we got another, you know, this amount, and you know, we thought we were going to make $1 million with, you know, by the 4th week, because of the, you know, they show you the stats. You've got the big number on the first day, so if you keep going in this way, you'll make $1 million. But I found that for me, the challenging part, because that's what I was doing in the US with the social media stuff and just keeping people's attention. I was always worried that and it's hard to do, right? You have to really map it out. But actually you had Jess, I'll give you credit too. I had never, no, I'm going to give you credit because I'd never worked with Canva. You know, you had when we had first shown you our page, you were quite critical. Constructively so, I'll say.
I mean, it has been known.
And he said to us, God, just go use, just like you can do all this in Canva. And I thought, Canva? What's Canva? Well, now I'm like a Canva addict. I love Canva. So thank you for that.
I get a lot of that. I recommend, you know, Canva, and I recommend Trello, and the number of people that come back to me and they're just like, yeah, I use it all the time now. Like, I'm a convert, and I'm just like, it's good. Like, I should really become an ambassador for those companies.
Yeah.
What's the second one?
Trello. It's a project management tool.
Oh, okay, I'll write
It's
that
really
down.
good for organizing everything.
Oh, okay.
I think one useful piece of advice, well, one useful observation that I certainly found was in terms of giving each of the tasks or meeting the tasks that you definitely given us, was we had regular weekly meetings to discuss and plan. So that was absolutely invaluable to us. It was very, very useful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. And then obviously you did so well on day one, you did so well on day two. How did that feel when knowing that, you know, only a few days before you were so like, is this going to work? When you saw those money coming in and that percentage increase, like what was going through your minds?
It
was mind blowing.
Yes.
It was such a thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
but
it
it also was dawning on us that we can manage, that we can do this. This is going to actually help us. You know, this is it. We're getting some money. So we just raised it. And that allowed us to climb up the ladder, the money ladder, if you like. And people were with us because thanks to John Bronwyn's brilliant posts, you know, they were able to share our exhilaration with us and our success. And it just, you know, it just kept on coming. But there was a point where it dipped slightly, which I think was week 3.
The dreaded.
Which you warned us about. And then it didn't pick up hugely, but it did pick up enough for us to actually reach our goal. And it was remarkable.
And so your initial goal was your like £5,000 and the match funding, so £10,000.
Yeah.
And you ended up hitting £22,500 from 283 people.
Yes.
When you hit your target and you started going into that overfunding, again, like, what was your thinking? Was it kind of like, oh, we can relax now, this is going well? Or was it like, oh my God, like, let's push this even harder?
I think we wanted to push it more because then we had the idea of the gin school.
Yes.
And we got excited about that, and you know where will that lead us, and what does that bring to the table, if you like. So we did definitely get excited and pushed more.
I think the one of the messages that the several people are saying is that believe in yourself. You know, if you believe in something, that you will do it. If you've got a good crowd, I mean, they started to become real people. But one of the things I would say, just based on what Linda and Philippa just said, is come up with your secondary goal early on, because we were sort of, you know, oh my God, we've got to come up with something, you know, and then it was, okay, 5,000 for a gin school. And then that we were easily able to meet. It was like, well, now what are we supposed to say? Okay, we'll change that to a $10,000 gin school, or £10,000 gin school. And then it was the £15,000. So really, like, just assume that you can do it. Even if it doesn't work out, have that plan in place, that you know what the stretch goal is.
Yeah, that's good. And then obviously your crowdfunding campaign's been closed now for about half a year. You've delivered your rewards.
Most of them, yeah.
You set up your shop. What other exciting things have come about for you post crowdfunding?
Well, we got a late post crowdfunder.
Yes.
Who ended up coming in and buying our equipment for us, even though we just raised money for it.
Amazing.
So he bought the whole still, and so we were able to use that money for all, for more equipment and things. And we have renovations in the shop we weren't anticipating and all sorts of things. So that was exciting.
Did you know them before the crowdfunding campaign?
No.
No.
No, they just came up out of the blue.
Wow.
They live on the island. They have a connection with the island. And a lot of people have said, that the still adds an extra identity to the island. And I think they were part of that. And they were in the business. So they wanted to come and introduce themselves and take it from there, really.
I was going to say the other amazing thing that happened. So because we didn't have all of our licenses in place and we were still getting our equipment, we were distilling on Butte with the distiller that we have been mentioning. So we got our first batch of gin from them, which is about 300 bottles, and we sold them in 24 hours.
Yeah, I remember. Sold out.
Yep.
Amazing.
We ended up having a real issue with supply and demand.
Yes.
It's a good problem to have. But yeah, in the end of the 3 months, we'd sold 3,000 bottles, which was actually beyond our expectations for our business plan had we opened on time.
Wow.
Which we were 3 months late. So it was good news all around. Everything that has happened has been good. The island got on board because we weren't able to do tastings. They did gin and tonics in the pubs, every single pub. They ran out of tonic on the island on the first weekend.
You caused a tonic shortage.
I think the crowd in relation to the surprise funder coming to build buy our equipment for us, when we noticed our crowdfund, we'd reached our target within the first week, and that obviously gave people a lot of confidence and understood that this product is wanted, and the community were keen to have a new enterprise on the island. So the crowdfunding helped us show that and prove that. It gave us sort of tangible evidence. It was very empowering.
Yes.
The island really got behind us too.
Yeah.
I think it was a result of that. When you live on an island, 50% are for you and 50% are against you. It's just a little lay of the land. But by the time we opened, I would say we had a really good, like 99% of the people in the town were really behind it. So it was really exciting. But I think one of the things you mentioned at the very start, Jess, and this was, I think, our first meeting with you, is you really have to understand your story. And that is your edge. And it's so true in everything we do, not just in the crowd fund. There are 400 gins in Scotland alone. There are almost 100 distilleries. And you really have to differentiate yourself, and we differentiate ourselves through our story, and you really forced us to articulate that story. I mean, you bought into it right away. I remember when you said, you guys are going to raise money.
I was like, that was the best meeting of my day. Yes, to them.
We didn't understand the value of the story in the beginning, and now we exploit it every single day.
Well done.
Yeah. I think the crowdfund has most certainly helped us frame our story, and it's enabled us to, as Bronwyn said, articulate that, and given us confidence.
I feel sorry for people who come into this shop because we want to share the story. We always say to people, do you know anything about our story? And if they say no, we go, oh. and then we give them this long story.
Put like a warning sign in the window, like, please allow at least 20 minutes for the shop.
Exactly. Yeah.
Return customers, 5 minutes is fine.
Yeah.
And given that, you have crowdfunded, would you crowdfund again in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
In terms of like for more equipment or for expansion, or would you ever go down kind of the investment crowdfunding route?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm watching right now a crowdfunding from a gin distillery in the States, and they've raised $900,000 for their and they're new, which is really interesting. So they're doing it as shares. we have never talked about growth. We're trying to stay realistic. We're just trying to get out of the pandemic at this point.
Yeah.
But certainly if we were able to go into the investment side, yeah, crowdfunding would be it, I would think.
Yeah.
And so given your experiences of crowdfunding, like each of you individually, like what one tip would you give someone that was in your shoes that year and a half ago? Like what tip would you give them if they're thinking about crowdfunding?
For me, I would definitely find a mentor, and I would definitely recommend Jess.
That's
Guys,
the main point.
Critical at times.
Yes. That aside, this business about know who you are and know why you're doing it, and know what it is about your endeavor that's going to be interesting to people, is going to give them, so that you've got some kind of hook that's going to pull them in and support you, the story.
that's a really good one.
Mhm.
I think I would probably echo Linda and definitely look at the mentorship side, because it really helped us firm up our story and get logical about what we were trying to achieve, and that really did help us.
Julie?
I definitely would echo what everyone has said so far.
Yeah, I think the story is the key piece. One of the things I would recommend, though, one of the things I would do differently, or I think we'd all agree, is that where we got caught out was if you're looking at your rewards, were we to do this again, I think we would look at the donation side more, because we really got caught up with the VAT at the end. I was so depressing, wasn't it, Linda? You know, because you were the most depressed. It's like we had to pay so much in VAT because they consider the rewards, you know, taxable, which is totally, you know, unfortunate. So personally, if I were to go down this road again, I would want more of the or really push the donation side. So I would give that as a pointer to people who are looking at crowdfunding.
Can I just say one more thing? Because the other thing was so when we first started out, we knew that we wanted to raise £5,000 to get the £5,000 match from RBS. But in our heads, we hadn't thought through what that £5,000 was for. And we didn't realize that we had to be specific until you told us about what we were crowdfunding for. So I think people have to really think about that before they go forward with it, because we hadn't.
Yeah. And Janine, were you going to say something?
I was just agreeing with Bronwyn. If we were going to look at that again, then definitely look at the donations rather than rewards.
That's very
I think it's an important thing for people to understand that, because we really didn't know that. And it was just awful to see, you know, some of that £22,000, quite a bit of it, go out back to the government.
Yeah, some businesses, you know, they crowdfund and it actually, like, you know, yours went crazy, but they go absolutely ridiculously crazy. Then they end up having to just give up and shut up shop, because then they realize actually the costs and the tax and all of these things, and they didn't work out their financials properly.
Yeah.
And, you know, even it on the page, it looks like they did really well, but in actual fact, they may have like 10,000 angry backers because they realize they can't even afford to make it anymore.
Yeah, which is why I think that we were the person who came outside the crowdfund identified themselves about, I don't know, a week before the crowdfund ended, and they specifically said they did not want to participate in the crowdfund. And I think it was really for that reason. They didn't want us to get caught with the tax. So I know that's an awful way to end this recommendation, but it's just, you know, I think it would be easy if people just focus more on the donation part, because a lot of people are willing to donate. You don't realize that at the time.
Exactly.
And did you have many problems in terms of like shipping your products? Obviously, like gin is alcohol, or it's also in glass.
Yeah, we couldn't ship the gin. People had to come and pick it up, and that worked out. And so there's still some bottles that people haven't picked up. But
yeah, they're like, we're in lockdown.
Exactly.
Just wait till the end, and then I'll be there.
But we're still holding on to them.
exactly.
I think that was more a limitation of the crowdfunding site, that we weren't allowed to sell alcohol because people hadn't confirmed their age when they came onto it.
Oh, there's another tip that I would say to people as well. So, and it's just about that gin. So people weren't allowed to pick up, or sorry, people weren't allowed to be sent. They had to pick up. What that meant was we never got the email. We never got the addresses from the people who had to pick up.
The postal addresses.
That's right. So we only got their email, and some of those emails were bad. Like they inputted them wrong. And so we've never been able to connect with some of those crowdfunders, not many, but if they have to pick up, we don't get the addresses. So you can't connect with them, fully.
You'll have to put out some like social media posts. Does anyone know this person? Help us find them, reunite them with their gin.
Yeah. Or we'll drink it.
Yeah, send the UK on a wild goose chase to find them. Okay, and so that is all super valuable information and behind the scenes knowledge about crowdfunding. And I think that anyone, whether they've got a team or not in the position that they're thinking about crowdfunding, like, can learn so much from you guys. And especially, I think, in terms of, believing in yourself, you really stress that, but also you don't need to know everything to just go for it. And sometimes actually it's better not to know everything, but to have some idea and then enjoy. It sounds like you guys really enjoyed the journey.
Yeah.
And enjoyed the experience. And it's probably a good job you all had each other to go through the highs and the lows of. But, thank you very much for letting me also enjoy those highs and the lows with you. Is there any last things that you want to add about your crowdfunding experience, or indeed tell me any exciting kind of plans that you've got for this coming year?
Well, we've got tons of exciting plans.
Okay.
We've got a new gin coming out.
Mm-hmm.
My background is our shop. It's a really cute little shop. And then we mentioned the other island who helped us out. We're now collaborating with them. Our mantra on that is collaboration is the new competition. And so we're collaborating with that island, the Isle of Bute and the Isle of Arran. And we're putting together a gin passport. So 3 of the gins are coming together in a box. And then we're going to encourage people to visit the 3 islands and visit our distillery. So that's very exciting.
That sounds very exciting. I've only been to the Isle of Arran, so I'm going to have to go to the other 2 now.
Yeah. You have to come visit, Jess.
Yeah.
I mean, I will when this pandemic's over.
Yeah.
Our tours and tastings are going to launch as well as soon as we're able. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure every listener is going to be excited about that too.
Yeah, we're focusing on the history of women in the gin industry, which has not been done unless maybe by someone else, but we haven't seen it. And also where we live it has a really sort of colorful smuggling history. So that's going to come into the tours. So check us out.
Very nice. And I'm going to link this video. So in the description of the YouTube video, I'll have the links of your crowdfunding page so that everyone can obviously go and check it out and see that we're telling the truth about how well you did. But where else do you want me to link people?
Oh, Facebook and our website.
Mm-hmm.
And we do we ship within the UK directly from ourselves. So yeah, we have an order online today.
Our gin's really good.
I have had great feedback from the people that have bought it, how good it is. And I also recommend, if anyone's watching this, to go sign up to your mailing list, because I absolutely love your newsletters. They provide me with a lot of value and a lot of humor, which is really what I want out of an email.
Yeah, great. Yeah, please do. I mean, encourage people to get on our mailing list and just follow us. Be part of our story. We're having fun. We want to encourage other people to have fun too.
And then when the world opens up again, go visit them. Spend at least 20 minutes in the shop having a chat, and then go and obviously enjoy the rest of the island. So thank you very much for joining me today, ladies, from all of you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank
Very
you,
much.
Jess.
Bye.